Hey everybody, Circus here, coming at you with another best purchases for new players video. This time we're going to be doing deck engines, and joining me this time is Gian Stranger. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing pretty good. Excited to be here, Circus.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. Now, people might ask, what's a deck engine? It's just something that it's a series of cards that just helps your deck get going, or just give that extra boost by summoning a boss monster that will just help you hopefully win the game. Now, the ones that we've picked are the ones that are probably been used the most lately. They're very consistent, and hopefully they won't get nerfed anytime soon, like the one that's on the screen. It's been out for a long time, and we feel it's a pretty safe investment for right now. Hopefully, it doesn't get nerfed anytime soon, but that's the Invoked engine. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Gian?
Yeah, definitely. So your main card is Alistair the Invoker. With Alistair the Invoker, he's a spellcaster guy. He has 1000 attack, 1800 defense. Now, the main thing with Alistair the Invoker is that he immediately searches for invocation. With invocation, you can either use materials from your hand, from your field, or even from your either graveyard, even your opponent's graveyard or your own graveyard. You can just banish according to what fusion summon you're going to be doing. You can banish that tribute monster, the attribute for that monster, and let's say you're going to summon Purgatrio. You go ahead and banish, let's say Shira Nui. It's a deck that's popular right now. You banish their Shira Nui fire monster, and you get to summon a Purgatrio. Another card you got is Magellanica. That's a pretty good card. It's a pretty high attack card for them, and it has a pretty good defense. And we also have the untargetable Cocytus, pretty good card, which just requires another just water monster. And along with Alistair the Invoker, you banish him, got 2900 best defense, and once again he's not able to be targeted by any other card. Finally, we have Caliga. Caliga is a dark fusion monster, and with it, it just basically restricts your opponent from activating continuous monster effects. So it's basically just once per turn, you can only activate one effect of a monster, and then that's it. So that's a pretty good card right there.
And only one card can attack, too, right?
That's also another important thing, Circus. Yeah, only one card can attack.
Each player can only attack with one monster during each battle phase. Now, what's cool, like Gian was saying, is you can use your own materials or the materials of your opponent in the graveyard. So if you're playing Shira Nui, they throw a couple cards in the graveyard on their first turn. They're going to be fire. It's your turn. You summon your Alistair. You got your invocation. You got a Purgatrio because you can banish one of their monsters from the graveyard.
Exactly, and that completely destroys their strategy of
Right.
keeping exactly keeping the tuner monster from in the graveyard. But
So yeah, the main deck that's using this right now is Element Sabers. It really flows well with it because Element Sabers, when they're in the grave, can change their attributes, so they can just pick what they want to summon. Basically, their monster can turn themselves into fire, earth, water, whatever they need it to, so they can summon what they need to. Another deck that we've seen do this is Shira Nui, right?
yeah, definitely. And Shiranui, well, it's good because, like we were also mentioning, it synergizes with the deck. You're basically going with just two copies of Purgatrio. The other ones would be your synchro monsters, and it doesn't. Let's say it doesn't change the deck that much, and it's just another boost you get added to that deck.
Yeah, and it's engines are good because you can experiment and put them in just about any deck and see how they synergize. Just Element Sabers and Shiranui are probably the ones that they synergize the most with. So a lot of people might say, "What about Magician Girls or something like that?" It's like, yeah, put it in anything. That's what a deck engine can do. It's just right now the best ones are Element Sabers and Shiranui. All right, so the next engine that we wanted to cover was the Lightsworn engine. We got quite a few cards on the screen, but really the core of the engine is Raiden. He's a level 4 tuner, and then the spell Charge of the Light Brigade. So, Gian, why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Definitely, Circus. So we got first Raiden, which is the level 4 tuner for Light Sworns. It's a good card because the moment you summon him, you get to activate his effect. Just basically mill the top two cards from your deck to the graveyard, and if you keep them until the end of your turn, you can also mill another two cards from your deck to the graveyard. Very good card, and it's So other than that, we also have Charge of Light Brigade, and basically it's a searcher for light swords. So you get to mill the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard, and you can add any level 4 light sword from your deck to the from your deck to the hand.
Right. And then other cards that you can use are Lumina. She allows you, if you already have Light Sworns in your grave, a Light Sworn monster in your grave, you can discard one and then summon one back out of the grave onto the field. And you're like, that sounds complicated. So basically, if you have Lumina and Raiden in the hand and you've already got monsters in the grave from like Charge of the Light Brigade, you play Charge of the Light Brigade, it throws a couple Light Sworn monsters in the grave, you use Lumina, you use her effect, you pitch your Raiden, the Raiden goes in the grave, you can then resummon it back out, and then you got a level 3 and you got a level 4, and you can go into your level 7 synchro. So
Definitely.
Light Sworns use that a lot. Other decks don't use that a lot. That's why we're not putting a real big stress on using Lumina and Solar Recharge, because Solar Recharge allows you to discard a monster, and then you send 2 cards to the grave, and then you draw 2 cards. So it's good to set up your grave, draw a couple of cards, and it kind of can set up that combo I just described. But the decks that use the Lightsworn engine aren't really doing that, besides like pure Lightsworn decks. But the decks we do see using it are Thunder Dragons, because they need to set up their grave. And then we see Shira Nui did it for a little bit, because Shira Nui can blend with everything for some reason. And then Dark Lords were using this for a little bit too, because they needed to set up their grave. All right, so the last one we want to recommend is the Neos engine. Now, take this one with a grain of salt, because this is an older engine. It's already been nerfed once, and it does cost money. It doesn't get used a lot, but it still gets used, and you can have a lot of fun with it. I would say make this the last one you go after, and only if you just really want to get it, because it's going to cost you around $20 to do so. But it's basically just a few cards. You got your Neos Fusion as the spell. You got Elemental Braveheart Neos as the boss monster, and then you got your Elemental Hero Neos as just the normal monster that helps sets everything up. So basically, you play the spell, you pitch the Elemental Hero Neos into the grave, and then any level 4 or lower monster. So it basically sets up your grave. And what are some of the things you can pitch to help set yourself up, Gian?
Well, one of the best cards back in the days was Bacon Saber, which basically just negates one attack. We got AD Changer, which can, back in the days, it was used to go for an OTK using or flip summoning into a Gale Lizard, returning a monster from your opponent, which was pretty good. And those are some of the best level 4s out there.
Right, and like I said, it's a little out of date, but like when Luna Lights came out, people immediately started using the Neos engine to get the deck started. It lasted a couple weeks, and then people realized there were better ways to play it, but we did see Neos Luna Lights for a while. So like I said, it's not a hot engine, but it's one to have around, and it's great because you get turn 1, you can get a nice big fat beater out on the board that can protect itself. So just keep that in mind. It's $20. I bought it because I like Neos, but it's not necessary. Not like the Invoked engine or the Lightsworn engine right now. All right, so if you guys like what you saw here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, do the Discord thing. Gian, I appreciate you coming out and doing these videos with me.
Hey, glad to be here, Circus. Thank you, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time, and I hope this video helped you out.